I've never done ayahuasca, so it's a mixture of two plants. One of them is DMT, but a lot of people I really respect, very, very intelligent people, had profound experiences with ayahuasca. What is that? Where do you go? Where does the mind go? What the heck is up with that?
I'll first say that I can't even smoke weed. I really do not enjoy it because I hate to let go of control. Like, if I feel out of control in life, it's like one of my biggest weaknesses. It's like very scary for me. I don't, and some people, really enjoy letting go in that way. I really don't. So I was pretty terrified to make the jump then to ayahuasca. But my wife, who I deeply respect, made a profound change through ayahuasca. And I saw it.
She led the way.
Yeah. And it wasn't a strange, I think we have a thing in America that's very, like a misconception, a stigma on psychedelics where, it's like, it's a drug and it makes some people crazy. And then you're going to be on the street and you're going to be out of your mind, or you're going to become like, a crazy person, basically. And I think I really bought into that notion because, again, I wasn't even raised with cable TV. You know what I mean? Like, ayahuasca is very, I didn't, you can imagine what that was like for a Mormon kid. I didn't know anything about it and never touched drugs at all and never even touched a cigarette, Anyway, so I think we have this misconception about it where Americans are quick to go to their doctor and take any medication or drug. But, whoa, when it comes to like psychedelics. Anyway, that being said, I had that trepidation going into it, but I really love and respect my wife, and I saw it make a profound impact in her life where she suddenly was able to heal from a lot of trauma that she had. She went through a lot in her life, and it really helped her heal. But it also set her in a new path spiritually that seemed really like a place that I wanted to be. So I did it, and I did it twice. The first time it didn't really have an effect on me, which happens to a lot of people, I guess. I drank, this little thing, and there was like this shaman who came over from overseas that was really, had been in the plant, world for decades and was a really incredible, I don't even know if he likes to be called shaman, but.
So it's supposed to be like 30, 60 minutes to take effect and a few hours. The journey lasts
about 4 hours.
4 hours.
Yeah. So the second time I took it, I took it in I would say 20, 30 minutes in. Exactly. I started to feel like I was like the dimension of what is reality. The curtain was pulled open and there was a lot more to discover. And it really blew my mind in a way that I think it would probably blow anybody's mind if, for instance, God descended or some Christian God or whatever it is. We all think it'd be this beautiful thing, but in reality, it would probably make people super fearful and think that they've lost their mind. I've always like joked that if the Mormon God came down and told my mom, like, if God himself came down and told my mom, Mormonism is incorrect, she would say, Satan.
Yeah.
It's like we're never, I think our minds are just not prepared for a lot of anything that's really extreme. And it was very extreme. It was like the curtain of life was cut open, which scared me. But then I felt very much, and a lot of people that I talked to have a similar thing where I felt very much like I was either communicating with something that was perceived as God to me, or highest sense of self or mind, or Mother Earth, or, it's called so many different names, but a lot of people have a very spiritual, similar experience with ayahuasca. In that it's like this kind of profoundness. It wasn't like, there was nothing, at least for me, that was, that felt like just like psychedelic, funny cartoons or something. It was like, I'm about to go on a journey, and I'm communicating with something that feels incredibly wise. Showed me a lot of things in my life, kind of almost like from a bird's eye, almost like I was looking through a video camera at a younger me. there was a particular thing that it communicated to me. I really have a hard time with accepting success and not feeling like feeling undeserving or something. I can't quite put it into words, but of my position and what I've been given. I've been given so much, and it showed me this thing from when I was young and explained to me why I am where I am now. And I to this day, like it did not feel like myself telling myself that. That's the only way I can explain it. Like, and there was a lot more that it showed me, and that was incredibly healing for me. But just to be like, to put it into a short thing, because there's so much to this. I walked away feeling very convinced that there is more to be known for sure. And a lot of my deep, like, things that were traumatic for me didn't feel traumatic anymore, specifically crisis of faith. I was very angry at my parents and my community for raising me in what I perceived to be falsehoods. And that I felt like the bedrock of everything I believed was ripped out from me in my 20s. And then it was like, good luck in life. But really, my parents had given me everything that they could. And they believe that very much so still. But a naive young me was angry and felt like they had been duped, and thus I had been duped. But ayahuasca really showed me this roadmap of like, this is truth, and you're concerning yourself about a grain of sand, which is Mormonism or whatever it is. And there may be some truths in that tiny grain of sand, and there may be falsities. But so is all these other grains of sand. Like, focus on the truth. Stop focusing on these little details that are meaningless, and forgive and let go of people believing in those things to begin with. I don't know if that makes sense, but that was like the core thing I was taught, and to let go of control. Stop needing to control everything.
And it felt like the wisdom was coming from elsewhere. Like
It really, I do not believe, at least in my current self, I don't have that, the mindfulness that I believe that exists in me to reach a lot of the conclusions that I did. And there was a lot more to it that would be for like a late night conversation with you. But it's so hard to put it into, you feel like a crazy person. At least anytime I talk about ayahuasca to someone who hasn't done it, I'm like, I don't even know where to begin. Like, how do you explain to someone that you felt like that a multiple dimension type thing happened in a way that, like, putting it into words is, and none of it was words, by the way, that was communicated to me. It was like, you know how people talk about telepathy, and if it existed, it would be like, I could communicate to you in such a deeper way. I'm so confined by me having to articulate these words and put them in a sentence to you, Lex, and then tell you, like, if only I could just be like,
yeah.
And emotions do that sometimes, right? You could see my emotions and be like, oh, that communicates a lot. So that's what it felt like to me with ayahuasca. Is it felt like it was communicating to me very clear things, but it wasn't like, Daniel, it's me, Mother Earth. Yeah. Let me relax, sit back, let me show you. But it was very clear to me what was being said. And no, it did not feel like me. But maybe smarter people than me who've done it would say, well, it was you and blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know, but it was very convincing.
There's a lot of stuff in that subconscious that we haven't explored. Like, we haven't explored the depths of the ocean. We haven't really figured out what's that, the Jungian shadow, what's going on underneath the surface of our conscious mind.
Right.
And what is that connecting to? Is that just inside our mind, or is there some kind of collective intelligence going on where all humans are connected to one kind of greater organism? Like, what is consciousness? We have a lot of hubris in thinking we understand any of it, like how the mind works at all. Like, what is it? What is the origin of consciousness? What is the origin of intelligence? There's a lot of hubris about this. We give each other PhDs and Nobel Prizes and congratulate ourselves as if we figured it all out. But humility is helpful here. Nevertheless, that is the question that humans have been asking for ever since humans were humans, which is the question of mortality, the question of God.